Okay, today it wouldn't be hard. Today we're going to do some more practice using our Fantastic 7 long division strategy. And I know I heard a lot of you say when I said we're going to practice the Fantastic 7, I heard people that did not seem very excited, even though it has such a great fun name, Fantastic 7. But I am just asking you to be patient and to keep trying, and raise your hand if you have a question and you don't understand something, because I know that this is hard. So this first one, though, has a nice divisor of 5. That's nice because the 5s are really easy multiplication facts. So they're easy division facts. Over here on the right, we have, like Mrs. Young did yesterday in the video, just a few basic facts to kind of get us thinking, what can we subtract out of that 426? So 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 10 is 50, and 5 times 100 is 500. Okay, you should be filling those out with me. You should be filling those out with me. Okay, so there's a couple of things I like to say when we are looking at long division. Number 1, we want to remember that long division is just repeated subtraction. And we could subtract 5 over and over and over again until we get to a number less than 5. But the reason that we don't do that is it takes a very long time, and there's a lot of room there for us to make a mistake, and we don't want to make a mistake. So what we do is we're chunking it together. So instead of subtracting 5 one at a time, we can say, well, let's subtract 5 10 times, which would be the same as subtracting 50. But again, I want to tell you that that is still really going to take a while. The more you can subtract it on your first try, the less work you have to do. Okay? So if you'll sit up, show me your learning position, because this is hard. I always like to look at my hundreds digit. And if it is less than my divisor, I know that I cannot subtract 5 100 times, because 5 times 100 is 500, which is bigger than that. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my tens place, which is a 2. So I have 42. Okay, I'm asking you to think, how many times can 5 go into 42 without going over? Let's all just count it on our hands. Everybody put up your fingers. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 45 is too big. So how many times can 5 go into 42 without going over? 8. Well, because that 2 is in the tens place, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put down 8, but I'm going to add my 0, because what I'm really saying is 8 tens, or I can subtract out 8 or 5 80 times. What is 5 times 80? What's 5 times 80? I should have lots of hands up. I should have everyone willing to try. 5 times 8 and add a 0. It's pretty easy. We've been doing this a long time. What's 5 times 80? Morgan? 400. 5 times 8 is 40, and we need to add 1 0. And technically, I should have put this down here. So what I'm saying essentially is I'm going to subtract 5 80 times. I'm just going to do it all at once and subtract 400. And now I have 26. Can I still subtract 5?
Yes.
Yes. But again, I want to encourage you to look at the whole number. I can't go out 10 more times because 5 times 10 is 50. So let's look all the way to the ones place. Now I have 26. 5 times what gets me close to 26 without going over? Do we need to count it again on our hands?
No.
Do we know it?
Yes.
Count it on your fingers if you don't know it. No one should be sitting there. Count up until you get close to 26 without going over. No one should be sitting. Ricky, 5 times what gets me close to 26? Count by 5s.
Keep going, Ricky.
Keep going. Keep going. Okay, 30 is too big. So how many times can I subtract 5? 5. Very good, Ricky. You just figured it out. So I'm going to put that over here. And again, I'm saying I can subtract 5 times, which is the same as subtracting 25. And that leaves me with 1. Can I subtract 5? No, because 1 is smaller than 5. So we just need to add these together. What's 80 plus 5?
80 plus 5.
That's our quotient. And then I have a remainder, which is
1.
don't forget to bring up the remainder. Don't forget to bring up the remainder. Okay? Now, I want you to take a second, and this is something we're going to keep practicing. But I told you that we could use the inverse operation to check our division. What's the inverse of division?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So we can take our quotient, 85, and multiply it by our divisor. And then we have to add our remainder, and we should get our dividend. Isn't that a lot like when we subtract and then we add back our difference plus the minuend, and we should get or plus the subtrahend, and we should get the minuend? Okay, so go ahead and multiply 85 times 5. Go ahead and multiply 85 times 5, please. Multiply 85 times 5, please. Good job drawing your boxes. Multiply 85 times 5, please, Ricky. Guys, we already did 5 times 80 over here. Okay, so we did 80 times 5 and got what? Everyone can say it.
440.
And then we did 5 times 5 and got?
25.
Okay, add together your partial quotients. It's 425. Does that match my dividend?
No.
No, but I need to add my remainder, and that matches my dividend. That means I'm correct. I did my division correctly. Okay, on the post test, you do have to multiply back to check. Okay? Okay, let's do one more example together. Yes, Harper?
Is the Fantastic 7 on the post test?
You can use any strategy you want, and it is an optional strategy. Okay? Okay, yes.
Is there always going to be a remainder?
No, not always. Okay, so let's look at this one. Now, over here on the right, we have some facts. 8 times 1 is?
8.
8 times 10 is?
80.
8 times 100 is? Okay, and remember our hint is we want to look at the digit in the hundreds place. Can 8 go into 900?
Yes.
Yes. Can it go in there 100 times?
Yes.
Yes, because 8 times 1 is 800. Now, 8 times 2 would be what, Gracie? What would 8 times 2 be? We can write it down. 8 times 200 would be 1,600. Can I subtract that? No. So the biggest 100 I can get is 100. So go ahead and write that over here on the right. And we're subtracting 8 100 times. Isn't it quicker just to do minus 800?
Yes.
And that leaves us with 147. Now, again, I'm going to keep subtracting until I get to something, a difference that is less than 8. Now, can I take out another 100? We already know we cannot. Okay, but what about 14? How many times can 8 go into 14 without going over? I like the way that I just saw Ryan grabbing her math fact chart. If you remember, I said you're welcome to use your math fact chart until we have the process down. How many times can 8 go into 14 without going over? Kaden, do you know? What's 8 times 1? 8. What's 8 times 2? So that's too big. So 8 can only go into 14 one time. But because that's our tens digit, we're really saying 10 times. 8 times 10 is 80. So right here, we're going to subtract 8 out 10 more times. So we're going to subtract 80, which is the same as if we did minus 8, 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 but it's much easier just to do 80. Okay? And you should be left with 67. 14 minus 8 is 6, right? What's wrong? Well, it's the same. If you regroup, it's still 14 minus 8. Okay? So, can I subtract 80 again?
No.
So now I'm down to my basic math facts. How many times can 8 go into 67 without going over? How many times can 8 go into, look at your fact chart. If you don't have your hand in the air, put your finger on that 8 and go across until you get to almost 67 without going over. I like all the hands I'm seeing. I still have some people not participating though. Get on the 8 all the way across until Stella F. How many times?
8.
8 times. So we're going to subtract 8 8 more times, which is what? 8 times 8 is?
64.
And that leaves me with 3. Can I subtract 8 again?
Nope.
No. So I add these together. What's 100 plus 10?
100.
Okay, these are actually, if you write neatly, they're already lined up too. So my quotient is 118, and I have a remainder of 3. Good job, Ricky. Now, how do I multiply to check my answer? How do I multiply to check my answer? Addie?
3 times 800?
No. Remember, look up here what we did. We did 85 times 5. So what am I going to multiply here?
3?
Not 3. The divisor. 8. 118 times 8. So just come over to the right. Okay? And then you're going to have to add in your remainder. Add back to 3. Everyone should be multiplying. 118 times 8. Everyone should be doing that multiplication. You should be writing it on your paper. And guys, you should already have these facts written on your paper. We have 8 times 100, 8 times 10, and really you have 8 times 8 if you look here at what we subtracted. All right. Kate and Al, what did you get?
Oh my God, 944.
And that's exactly right. So 8 times 100 is 800, 8 times 10 is 80, and 8 times 8 is 64. When we add those together, we get 944. Is that the same as my dividend? No. Add in my remainder, which is 3, and that gives me 947. That is my dividend. How do I get what?
800 minus all the things that's under 947.
This? Well, from here, we're saying we're taking 8 out, we're subtracting 8 100 times, which is 800. 8 times 100. We're subtracting 8 10 times, which 8 times 10 is 80. And we're subtracting 8 8 times, which 8 times 8 is 64. So whatever you decide you can subtract out over here, when you say how many times can 8 go into 67 without going over, you put that 8 there, but then you multiply it to see what you subtract. So you're subtracting 8 8 times, which is 64. Okay? Okay, tell me, you want to do one more together?
No.
Okay, put your thumb up if you think you could do it independently. Or you think you're willing to start trying independently. Okay, if you...
get it wrong, but
No, I like it. Let's try it. Let's see what we can do. Even if you just get these facts over here. Look at your examples. Look at the example from yesterday. It's in your red notebook. Have your multiplication chart out.